Get great deals throughout the store at Safeway. This week at Safeway, get mega packs of bone-in USDA choice beef New York strip steaks for $5.97 per pound with digital coupon. Limit 2 packages. Plus, Haas avocados are 10 for $10. Member price. Also, this week at Safeway, mix or match 12 packs of 12-ounce cans or 8 packs of 12-ounce bottles of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, 7-Up, or Dr. Pepper are buy 2, get 3 free. Limit 3 free items. Member price plus CRV. Visit Safeway.com or head in store for more deals.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hi, this is Crystal Hardison from Southeastern Livingston Center. I'm the director, and you are listening to Local Leaders, the podcast.
Real Crime Podcast has had a lot of moments, whether it's winning the 2019 People's Choice Award for Best Storytelling or 2020's dominant performance on Podcast Magazine's Hot 50, where they won just about every month, top 50 podcast in the country. Pretty impressive. But if you thought Real Life, Real Crime had peaked, you would be wrong. They've had some sold out shows, Facebook fans, slews of Facebook fans, and podcast awards galore, all in 2021 as well. Already this year, we've seen them rise through the rankings to the current position of second in the world in true crime podcasting by most publications, as well as an announcement of a spinoff entitled Don't Call It a Cold Case, in which Woody will focus on cold case files and difficult to solve cases such as the Barbara Blunt case right here in Livingston Parish.
That's right.
So most recently in 2021, we've seen local, national, and even international headlines of the arrest of David Anthony Burns for the murder of Courtney Coco. This case sat in cold case files of the Alexandria Police Department for 15 years prior to Woody's involvement. It was Woody's gathering of evidence and solving of the case in 7 weeks' time that led to the eventual arrest of Burns just a few weeks ago, right?
That's correct.
So, by Woody's side through all of this has been his bride of 11 years, Cyndi, who is the creative genius of Real Life, Real Crime. And in just a few short years, her dominance in the realm of social media has turned Real Life, Real Crime into a media empire. Today, we're going to talk about all of these things with both of these fine folks and a whole lot more. So with that, welcome Woody and Cyndi Overton to Local Leaders Podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I am excited today. Now, Woody, this is not your first appearance on Local Leaders, the podcast.
No, that's true.
You appeared way back in episode 1. And I'll tell you what, man, you really shot me through the roof.
You shoot us through the roof.
No. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on. But Cyndi, we have a couple of firsts for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
First time you've been on this show, and first time you've really been on any show when it comes to podcasting. Mm-hmm. And you're already rocking and rolling. Look, so we're excited to kind of get you on and get you going with these podcasts. And who knows, you might have a spinoff coming on pretty soon, right?
Real Housewives of Norwood.
She's already coming up with ideas, Woody. She's already coming up with ideas. Now, Woody, a lot's happened since last time that you and I sat down and talked. When we sat down last time, COVID was in the early stages.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was crazy. Live podcasts, meet and greets, all that stuff was non-existent.
Right.
Couldn't do any of that. David Anthony Burns was still running free.
Exactly right.
But my, oh my, what a year makes as far as a difference. So first, we're going to give listeners and viewers some perspective on you two's relationship. So we're going to go with Cyndi here. I messaged you a few days ago, and I said, "Hey, Cyndi, how long have you and Woody been married?" And she said, "Well, we were married sometime in December of 2009." And I'm like,
if you find the date, let me know.
Yes, she did. I was like, "Dave, what?" So I am ready to hear that. I got to hear this story. Okay. Tell me how you don't know the date.
Well, it's not relevant. Like, I mean, it's our union formed May 5th.
Yes.
And that was just it. But I said you needed to tell the wedding story.
Well, I was with state police at the time, and one evening I just called her, and we already had the license, but I called her. I said, "Get ready, we're going to get married." So went to Max Owens Justice of Peace in Albany, and which is where I got my hair cut, and you can get your license done and everything else. And
that's awesome.
I knew Mr. Max, but I walked in, and the young man sitting behind the desk, I had arrested before. So I walked in, his eyes went,
Here it comes again.
I said, "Can you call Mr. Max and tell him that I'm here?" And he called and said, "No, Detective Overton's out here." And so I think I got a haircut.
You got a haircut?
I got a haircut, and then
you watched Jeopardy?
Watched Jeopardy while we were waiting on Max, and then he married us, and this is a true story. The guy that witnessed it was the guy that I arrested.
Oh, that is unbelievable. That is a great story.
You can't make that up.
No, you can't. You can't make it up. And so you had said y'all found each other kind of on Facebook, or Woody found you on Facebook?
Well, we grew up together, and then it had been years, and I honestly thought he was not even alive anymore. I mean, I'd come home to visit and go down Plank Road and look at his house, and like, always the wonder what happened to Woody. It was pre-internet, pre-Facebook, like all of that. And so I just thought he was dead. I mean, like, there's no way the man that I grew up with would be alive.
That was pretty hardcore.
Other than God.
I know that feeling, Woody.
Right.
And so Facebook was coming, like all of us were getting on Facebook. So my best friend April said, you need to look Woody up. And so in the meantime, Woody had found me, sent a friend request, and what did you say?
She's been stalking me ever since. She was stalking me back then. That's not my version of the story.
Yeah, Woody's sitting there going, "Do what?" Well, I like that story. Very, very interesting. So during y'all's marriage, you went through some challenges, especially related to Woody's health. Mm-hmm. So I do want to mention, if you have not picked up Woody Overton's book entitled "Jesus Held Me," do yourself a favor and get the book. I actually downloaded the audio version. Yeah. And I like to listen to it that way because I like to listen to Woody, and so it's almost like listening to his Real Life, Real Crime podcast, except for it's his book. Yeah. And you do an amazing job of really reading it, and when you read those books and it's from the person that wrote it and they're reading it, it's a lot better to me. Yeah. I love it when it's read by the author. So pick that up. Very, very good book. So we're going to fast forward here a little bit. You wrote the book, and then boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast is jumping onto the scene. Cyndi, tell me how you came up with the concept for Real Life, Real Crime.
It was Christmas time. He calls it hunting season.
Most of the year is hunting season.
Indeed.
And it's football season or hunting season. So
I love that.
And so my daughter came home from college, and she was listening to a podcast, and it was just us in the house. So she was like, "Mom, do you mind if we keep this on while we wrap presents?" And I don't remember honestly which one it was. I'm not going to say the name if I did. Yeah. And I was like, this is boring, Sophie. And she's like, no, you got to listen to the story. The story's intriguing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, Sophie, this is boring. Can we find something else? And she's like, no, that's the only one I listen to. And so we just continued to wrap presents. I listened to the story. I tried to listen to another one, like later that night, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And then the next day, Woody calls me and he says, it's going to be really bad weather. Let's go to the coast, go to Biloxi for the weekend or a few days. And so on the way there, as per usual, we're driving down the road on 22, going from like Marpole to Springfield.
Yeah.
And he's telling me a story. And I said, right when we got to Springfield, I'll never forget it. I said, you need to start a podcast. And we were at the light in Springfield. He turns right and he's like, what's a podcast? By the time we got to the interstate to get on, is that 12? I think it was 12. 55. So by the time we got there, we had already looked up a podcast, listened, and he's already decided we're doing a podcast. This is boring. Like,
No, you said tell a story. I said, I'll tell him a story.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You didn't know what you were getting into then,
right.
did you?
Well, no, I did.
It wasn't like we started that day. We had to do, we did a lot of research.
But what I mean is we had already decided that we were going to do the research. Yeah. We were going to do all of the stuff.
So you were 100% on board kind of with this idea?
We always roll with it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Some of our best ideas come up just off the cuff like that.
Yeah. And it's amazing with podcasting, and you much more than me, but we can both kind of relate to it taking kind of a life of its own.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the crazy thing about podcasting is it goes really fast. It's like you don't really have slow down time with podcasting.
Right.
You can't or you lose it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Exactly right. So we're going to go ahead.
I do want to say something.
Yes.
No, I'm not correcting. He always says that I said that people like his voice. I had no idea that people liked his voice.
Yeah.
My words were that I like your voice, and you can just say anything to me under the sun, and you just get it. I do it. Like it was really more of. I knew that his whole voice would be powerful, and so
very powerful.
That's quickly what became known as the voice.
Yeah. It's interesting. I listened to it first, and this is way back in the beginning when you were doing it, and I called my wife. I said, you gotta listen to this podcast. Mm-hmm. And so she listened to it, I guess while she was at work or after work. And she told me that night, she said, he has a great voice. And then I'm like, wait a minute, what about my voice?
No comparison.
Yeah, what's up with that? Yeah, so it was, some people just kind of have almost that, I don't know, gravel or deep kind of voice, but kudos to your voice there, Woody. Very good, sir. I do want to mention that the good folks at Restoration 1 of East Baton Rouge, while they have been your source for damage, whether it's fire, water, smoke, or mold, they now do crime scene cleanup, Woody.
Wow. That's big business.
That's a huge business. Car accident cleanup, etc. So if you need any of these services, reach out to Restoration 1 in Baton Rouge, 225-351-7753. When damage is done, call Restoration 1. So y'all are both kind of riding the wave, right? You start doing your podcast and it takes off, and it seems like it took off really fast. People really caught on. They were enjoying the content. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot more than just sitting down and talking through a microphone, right? There's a lot behind the scenes, right, Miss Cyndi, that you have to do as far as promotion is concerned. And y'all have a lot of help with your kind of your back.
Dream team.
Yeah, dream team. That's what I was trying to think of. Your dream team. It really, really helps y'all out. And all those sorts of things, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot to keep up with, and it seems like y'all love it. Both of you just
nonstop.
Yeah. So you're rocking and rolling. Now, your first episode was an episode called Double Clutch. Mm-hmm. Wow, that was an unbelievably good episode. And Cyndi, what were your thoughts? I mean, it was a good episode, but it was kind of tough to hear, right? It was real.
Yeah.
It was real life.
It was real life, real crime.
And what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I know probably 90% of the stories that he tells. It's very rare that I hadn't heard even a glimpse of one. And he decided to go with that one just basically for the awe factor. You know, I mean, let's get their attention, and they're either going to like it or they're not. I mean, I could be wrong.
I said, if they want to hear a story, I'll tell them
Well,
a story.
that- yeah.
And in
You
retrospect,
did.
I probably shouldn't have started out with that one, because you can see, people who click on it and never, click on again. But, I mean, it's real life, real crime. I mean, I just didn't want, after listening to all these other shows, I'm like, this is boring. I'm going to tell them something real. It'll get you, right? If that story doesn't get you, nothing will.
Period.
The sad thing is, though, well, not the sad, but, one thing that I want to point out is that Woody does not sensationalize anything. He left out major horrific events that happened in that case.
At the same time, you have to tell at least the base facts, right? To do the story
absolutely.
justice. Yeah,
I agree.
But there's so much that people don't really, know that, was left out, but it would just have been overkill, to quote another episode. It would be overkill by that point, so.
Yeah, I agree. But it was a great episode. And I thought it was, I told Woody the first time he sat down with me, it seems like y'all made all the right moves at all the right times. Even down to naming your lifers. I mean, that's a great idea.
That was him.
Yeah. Your dream team, all those sorts of things. Just, yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It really is. And so what a great job there.
From humble beginnings in 1989, Big Mike's has long been a place for friends and family to gather for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Big Mike, Jocelyn, and their friendly staff invite you to come in and relax in one of their spacious dining areas, or watch a game on one of the big screen TVs. Big Mike's is a place to meet old friends or make new ones. Big Mike's offers daily and nightly specials, and they specialize in serving up delicious and fresh menu items. Big Mike's offers a catering menu for large groups and has private party rooms for up to 100 guests. Whether you're planning a quick lunch or a large family dinner, or just a night out with friends, Big Mike welcomes you to experience a great time. And don't forget to grab some t-shirts, caps, or koozies in the gift shop. Oh, or a bottle of Big Mike's Honey Dijon. It's delicious. Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill. We're kind of a big deal.
Cyndi, we kind of talked about the popularity that comes with podcasting and when you take off and when people like what you have to say.
Get great deals throughout the store at Safeway. This week at Safeway, get mega packs of bone-in USDA choice beef, New York strip steaks for $5.97 per pound with digital coupon. Limit 2 packages. Plus, Haas avocados are 10 for $10. Member price. Also, this week at Safeway, mix or match 12 packs of 12-ounce cans or 8 packs of 12-ounce bottles of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, 7-Up, or Dr. Pepper are buy 2, get 3 free. Limit 3 free items. Member price plus CRV. Visit Safeway.com or head in store for more deals.
Why don't more infant formula companies use organic, grass-fed whole milk instead of skim? Why don't more infant formula companies use the latest breast milk science? Why don't more infant formula companies run their own clinical trials? Why don't more infant formula companies use more of the proteins found in breast milk? Why don't more infant formula companies have their own factories instead of outsourcing their manufacturing? We wondered the same thing. So we made ByHeart, an infant formula company on a mission to get a lot closer to the most superfood on the planet, breast milk. Our patented protein blend has more of the important and most abundant proteins actually found in breast milk. We're the first and only U.S.-made formula to use organic, grass-fed whole milk, not skim. We even conducted the largest clinical trial by a new infant formula company in a quarter century, with clinically proven benefits like easier digestion, less spit up, and softer poops versus a leading infant formula. And we make our own formula in the USA and our very own factories in Iowa, Oregon, and Pennsylvania. ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.
The media side really takes the most time, right? For both of y'all. paying attention to when people are commenting, and you're very interactive with your audience
all day, every day.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's hard. It's not physically hard, but it's just hard to find time to do all that. And you're very good at that. I think that's a big key to what you're doing is that you're you can tell you appreciate it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I really appreciate all of them.
And that's something that I noticed when I started listening is I'm like, wow.
I can tell you daily routine, wake up, before I get out of bed and having a coffee, I'm on social media. And then for at least a couple hours, and then in the middle of the day, and then about 5 or 6 in the evening, starting back again until like midnight sometimes, or even later. But it's, you have a job you love, you never have to go to work. And, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And the proof is in the numbers, right? I'm on like the fan pages, 34,000 and 20,000, this one, et cetera.
Huge numbers, huge accolades. I mean, there's some good podcasts out there in every different genre, and it just seems like one thing, you're the people that enjoy your podcast, they're very loyal, and they're
true.
Look, they're in that article that was written a few days ago, the cult, right? Cult-like following, but they'll cut somebody if they say anything negative about real life real crime.
That's the truth, right? Yeah.
So that's always great, and that speaks to the content you're putting out. That's really awesome. Now, Woody, big headlines recently for the arrest of David Anthony Burns for the murder of Courtney Coco. Just a couple of questions about that. How did you hear about the arrest?
I actually knew ahead of time about what date the grand jury was going to be on. I knew that the grand jury, of course, the grand jury is secret, but I knew it was going to be on or about the 13th. So I loaded up and went to Alexandria and was waiting.
Now, let me tell you, I followed this case kind of through you all this time, and to tell you how important what Woody's doing is, I wasn't even familiar with this case before Real Life, Real Crime.
Yeah, nobody was pretty much, right? It's
frozen and old, and the older those cases get, the harder they are to solve, right?
Less than 1% ever get solved, and the older the longer it goes cold, that percentage goes down dramatically.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. So you get that call finally that, hey, we're going to arrest this guy. What was that feeling like?
I teared up. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
You should.
It's huge, man. That family. They're my family.
Yeah.
And I got the God bumps right now. It was just God does everything in His time, and it took another year and a half, but it is what it is. He's in jail where he deserves to be.
Yeah, and when I sit and I'm sure, Cyndi, you're the same way. You kind of sit and you look at that. Number one is it's absolutely amazing what you did. I think you were a detective before internet, before all of the. Right. I mean, you were
before cell phones. Right?
Yeah. So it was a little bit harder to solve cases probably back then than these days. Not that it's easy these days, but. You didn't have all the information right at your fingertips like you do now. Right. I think, I'm sure those skills helped you, as well.
And Courtney's family, I call them the A-team.
Yeah.
Her mom and her grandmother and her 2 aunts, they had a 2,000-page case file when I got with Miss Stephanie the first time that they had collected over the years. So my hats off to them because they're heck of a group of detectives who never gave up.
Yeah.
So, but I was able to work off of that.
Yeah. It was amazing the pressure that was placed on the people that kind of decide these things, and I think that was a lot of why we see him there. You are, in my opinion, the primary reason. When you were going through that case, was there a point in time where you were like, well, this is who did it? How did they miss this?
Yeah, absolutely. And it came through a lifer, one of the fans. Mm-hmm. And, we ran down so many tips and I talked to so many people and going to Texas and talking to Detective Rabelais and everything else. But there was a point when a lifer reached out to me and said, I can tell you who did this. And well, I don't want to give away who it is. Someone had told her, said that they've told me all the years, and it keeps saying over and over that Anthony did it, that Burns did it. And I said, think you can get me a recording of that?
Yeah.
And she did. And in that recording, this person said that Burns did it, I think like 9 times in 3 minutes when she questioned him about it. Yeah. And
wow.
That look, wasn't on the radar.
Yeah.
And you know, Burns actually was a pallbearer at Courtney's funeral.
No.
Straight up.
There you go. That's some dropped information
cold, right?
for you.
Right.
That's really cold. That's disgusting, man.
But
yeah, that's disgusting. Yeah. So, you know, he gets arrested, and you went down for was it the arraignment?
That's correct. I was there the week of the arrest, and I went back the following Thursday, and the arraignment was on Friday. I sat on the front row with the family.
Yeah. Did you some bitch look you in the eye?
I wanted to knock his teeth out. No, he didn't have. I told one of the guys that was with the family. I said, you know, he's going to play it one of two ways. He's going to come in and try to stare everybody down, or he's going to have his head on the floor. And he had his head on the floor, meaning he wouldn't look at anybody until the end when he did that crazy thing. You see the psychopath come out of him, and the judge, and the indictment's been read. Judge this court-appointed attorney says, you know, not guilty, and they give the next date, right? And then he stops, and he reaches up with his cuffed hand, starts to take his mask off, says, Yana, yesterday my physical body was murdered. And the judge get him out. They ran him out. Yeah. And I was like, that's the psychopath, right? He had this plan that he was going to be the focus of attention. He still thought he was the smartest person in the room, right? Which, hey, if you get away from murder for 16 and a half years and you have everybody fooled, the family included, you know, it is what it is. Yeah.
What were you thinking when you found out this guy was finally getting arrested? Stephanie Berthelot and the crew at SR Enterprise can handle it all, from sheetrock to texture to paint. Give Stephanie a call at 504-432-9284. SR Enterprise, where they spread the paint and you spread the word.
I mean,
probably going to pay for what he did at some point soon.
Relief, you know. I mean, it's been a lot on. I can't imagine Miss Stephanie and the family for so long. So it was relief for them. It was relief for Woody, relief for Courtney, and I mean, in my deep, like my saddest moments or my happiest moments, I get on my face and pray, and I literally just fell to the floor and started praying and cried.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was just...
Yeah. Proud of this guy, too.
Oh, my God. I mean, extreme. Yeah. But I live my life proud of him. I mean, if Anthony would have never been arrested, I still would have been proud of him. You know? For me, at that moment, it was more about him feeling his own pride and vindication and, you know, all of that.
Seeing all that hard work.
Right, for him. But for me, I live knowing that he did it, you know. But for him, just...
For me,
the cop part
it was about getting justice for the family.
Absolutely.
It's not 1 ounce of pride in what I did, but the fact that, and I had the bumps again, the fact that, you know, we were able to close it out was just amazing.
Yeah.
And I have to say that every interview he's done since has been because I've made him do it.
Yeah.
And I don't make Woody Overton do anything. I've never, ever said you have to do something until this. But he doesn't want to be and taking credit. I mean, he just wants the man behind bars.
Absolutely.
That's all he wants.
But I'm proud of you.
I appreciate it.
And I think you did amazing work. You know, I did a podcast before this one where I just felt like I wanted to get some shit out, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
I did a podcast where where I freestyled, which is weird for me. But I did it and said what I needed to say.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very important.
Yeah, and I thank you for that. And you could tell it came from the heart. The freestyling part. So
yeah. So Cyndi, do all natural skincare products sound like something you'd be interested in?
Of course.
Well, I got good news for you. Let me tell you about Kimberly B's All Natural. They have chemical-free skincare products right here in Livingston Parish. So it's whether it's lip balm, sugar scrubs, anti-itch cream, or a vast array of other products you need, it's likely that they have it. For more information, check out KimberlyB'sAllNatural.com. Now let's get into our next topic, which is your new series launching entitled "Don't Call It a Cold Case." You got a great intro for that one, too. Toby Tomplay original.
Toby Tomplay is an intro master, right?
He really is, and he's got a great one there. Tell us about this series.
Well, ever since I started on Courtney's case, and even I was doing it live, right, and I couldn't get so much into work in Courtney's case because I couldn't get off the bad police work and stuff that was done. That's where the story was going. I mean, it was just bad. And but anyway, I think people, of course, they know the success now, but they knew the success back then also. Being able to take it off from the cold case, Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office cold case list to the number one active case in 3 weeks, and then giving it over to them in 7 weeks. But I get, Jim, I'm telling you, at least 2 or 3 requests a day from around the world of people wanting me to look at their cold cases. And and Toby and I were talking about it. And Miss Barbara Blunt, who, her murderversary, I hate to call it that, but that is this week, May the 2nd. I think it's been 13 years. But we started when Sheriff Ard asked me to look at Miss Barbara's case, and we started working it, right? And that was a little bit different. Toby was my producer then, and he was coming in the field with me on the interviews and stuff like that to try to improve the sound, et cetera. Yeah. But there are so many great people out there that are hurting, and their families and all, and I'm like, man, there's no way financially, mentally, physically, geographically that I can work all these cases. But so Toby's a creative genius himself. Absolutely. And he's like, man, we need to do a podcast where we pick out these cases and work them. Even if we can't close them out, you can work it and at least give some national attention to the thing. And that's where it was born from. Awesome. And yeah, it's, the Barbara Blunt case is, I've looked a little bit into that case. Of course, it's right here in Livingston Parish. Yes. Miss Barbara Blunt just totally disappeared. I think one of the issues with that case right off the bat was the weather was horrible. Everything totally different than Courtney Coco's case, where everything was screwed up. Law enforcement did everything perfect. The sheriff's office in this case, but it was just like everything was against them, from a monsoon to wash evidence away to just everything was bad. Yeah, against law enforcement, and it's just a perfect destruction of everything. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. Yeah. And so I look forward to that one. If anybody can do it, I'm going to tell you this, and hats off to Sheriff Jason Ard again, because when we were working it before COVID, he hit me up at 2:00 in the morning. It's like, hey, he had his own copy of the case file, and he's looking at it and he's like, hey, this. I'm like, yeah, this. And man, he had a brand new, fresh set of detectives assigned to the case, and they were meeting on twice a week on it, and we were really making some progress. And then COVID came, and you couldn't do anything. And then the allocation stuff that he was allocating, not that they've ever stopped working, because they haven't, but stuff he was allocating, then they got to deal with COVID in the jail and all these different things. Yeah, you got resources spread thin. And we can't get subpoenas issued to corporations and stuff because nobody's in their office. It's just, it's almost like it's still been a perfect storm that try to hinder us and stop us from working this case, but we're not going to stop.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I think it's coming on solving that one too. Yeah. When you look at these cases, I would have, your brain probably works differently than a lot of people's. I picture you, and I'm probably got this way off, but I picture you kind of laying all this stuff out and just looking over it, or is it more instinct?
No, I read through it, and look, these guys did a wonderful job, but it's easy to be an armchair quarterback and come in after the fact and not. I can't say it's easy. I can't not take anything away from them at all whatsoever, but you're coming in 12 years later, and I'm looking at stuff, and I'm like, ooh, what about this? What about this? What about this? But when you're in a real-time investigation like they were, a lot of things will come in, and you may look at it for a second, but you're still focused on something else right now until you can get off of that. You know
sure.
what I mean?
So totally get it.
So, I mean, it's very interesting.
But Jason our Sheriff Ard was really interested in the crowdsourcing that was used in Courtney Coco. And so Woody knowing the department and Woody, knowing him mixed with the crowdsourcing that was helpful with Courtney Coco, I think was a major pull for Woody coming in.
The reason he was...
Hey, it's Jim Chapman reminding you that if you have not heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. 1, it's free. 2, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. 3, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's really everything you need to make a podcast in only one place. It makes it easy, folks. So do me a favor, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Get great deals throughout the store at Safeway. This week at Safeway, get mega packs of bone-in USDA choice beef, New York strip steaks for $5.97 per pound with digital coupon. Limit 2 packages. Plus, Haas avocados are 10 for $10. Member price. Also, this week at Safeway, mix or match 12 packs of 12-ounce cans or 8 packs of 12-ounce bottles of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, 7-Up, or Dr. Pepper are buy 2, get 3 free. Limit 3 free items. Member price plus CRV. Visit Safeway.com or head in store for more deals.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Interested is lifers kept hitting me up all through the Courtney Coco's case. What about Miss Barbara's case? What about Miss Barbara's case?
Yes.
And I say, hey, ask your sheriff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm busy, right?
Yeah.
But I remember when she went missing. I was like 6 months gone from the sheriff's office at state police at the time. I remember thinking, man, I'm glad that wasn't my case, right? And, I mean, selfishly on my part.
Sure.
But and Jason, give it to him. You got to give him praise. He's a forward thinker, and he's all about. He's like me on this one. He doesn't care. He just wants to solve it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
he's an amazing guy in his own right.
Right.
I mean,
well, we came up together. I mean, we really did. So.
Yeah. Interesting thing about Jason, he started out 16 years old as a cadet with the Denham Springs Police Department.
Right. That's right.
And so lifelong police officer as well. So Cyndi, that's another series that you got. You found 5 minutes in the day somewhere to start promoting Don't Come.
That's all him and Toby.
That's all him and Toby. They can have that one up. I hear you. So let's discuss patron or Patreon, however you say it. We got to figure out how you say that at some point.
Patrons are part of the Patreon platform.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Patreon. Let's discuss that and how it works. I've had a few people ask me, what is Woody's Patreon.
Yeah.
And what is that about? So you've got some different levels of membership there, whichever one of y'all, just kind of shed some light on how that works and the memberships and all that.
Well, basically for each tier level, Patreon is like a subscription service, almost like a Netflix or something like that, except you get to pick whatever perks you want, so to speak. So each tier level has various perks, and they build up, according to price point, basically.
Sure.
So like at the $5 level, you basically get a shout out on social media. And then the $5 a month will support the show.
Yeah.
And then for $10, the vandalism tier.
I
know. Well, the first one is disturbing the peace, so that's why you get a shout out. And then vandalism, you get a sticker after 3 months, and that's when you start to get like unedited, commercial-free, early release episodes.
Sure.
That's the most popular. And then you go, and so it goes up from there, all the way up to Peeping Tom, which is $40, which we created in hopes that COVID would be gone, and it is.
And that's pretty much for live shows, the VIP events and stuff
so it's for that.
Okay. And the only time you should be proud to be a Peeping Tom.
Right. Well, naturally, each one of them has a crime name.
Yeah, I know. Look, man, it's genius. I'm telling you, it's genius. Everything.
What it is, and I had someone hit me up in the very beginning. Said, "Oh, I love your podcast," and I'm like weeks old after or maybe had 2 episodes out, and they were like, "Are you gonna do Patreon?" I'm like. Yeah, sure we are. Absolutely. I didn't know what it was, right? I had no idea.
Heck yeah, we're on that tomorrow.
But it's a way our lifers support us. And I'm going to tell you something, real life, real crime would not exist today had it not been to the level, especially that we are, had it not been for our Patreon support.
It's all about the support, right? I mean, I cut in during, like we're talking, and
absolutely.
I'll cut in and do some things. And sometimes I hate doing that because I feel like it takes away.
Yeah, and I did too, Jim, on some, like our commercials. Hey, we have national commercials, no doubt about it. But people that get to listen to the podcast for free, they have to hear the commercials. So the patrons, they don't. Yeah. And sometimes you get bad review about having commercials. Well, you know what? You listen to a free show.
Yeah.
It's not free for us. I can promise you, right?
No doubt about it. So doing great there. And, there's a slew. It seems like every day some sort of social media is coming out that we didn't have yesterday. I remember TikTok. So I fought the TikTok thing forever. I was not getting on TikTok. And the other day, what did I do? I downloaded TikTok because it seems like it's another outlet to get the message out, right?
Yeah.
Discord. So what is Discord?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's another lifer thing that a suggestion, you need to get it on Discord. And so we did it for open container patrons and above. And man, I'm having some real fun with it.
Yeah.
When I have proper internet service, and especially if I'm out of town having a beer, I'll jump on Discord, and the members are on there up to 24. You can have a live video feed. So I get to put the faces with the names, and then like this morning at 6:30, I jumped on Discord and said, "Hey y'all, everybody have a great day." You can text, unlimited, voice chat up to 250 people, and then video up to 24. And so we really just started that.
Yeah.
And like we have the dream team for the crew page, we have these ladies, and I did not come up with this name. they call themselves the Cows. That's what I said. I said, I'm not touching that one. But it stands for
Council of Woody.
But they kind of run the Discord, and one guy, Nathan Wayne Pompier, out of Marksville, and he's a mechanical guy behind it, but they kind of run that. But that's another big thing, man. It's just but you know what? We don't get on there and tell stories. We get on there and just like BS about the day, and
talks to their kids.
Talk to the kids. we
talk about what they're cooking
for your mama,
and where it's crazy, man. It's just you know what it is. It's getting to put the human face on me and the human face on them, and they love it, and I love it, and I wish I could get on it every day.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing, and you said it exactly right. It humanizes everybody because. with your podcast, you're telling a story, and people aren't really getting to know you outside of that. Right. And so Discord, I would imagine, would be a good way to do that. Yeah. Casey, have you called the plumber about the sink in the break room?
Yep, they came this morning. I can't believe you missed them.
What was their name again?
Giot's Plumbing.
Wow, that was quick, and they did a great job.
They did. And when you need plumbing services of any type, give Giot's Plumbing a call. With over 50 years combined plumbing experience, the team at Giot's Plumbing can handle all of your plumbing needs. So whether it's residential, commercial, new construction, or reconstruction, give Giot's Plumbing a call at 907-6282 and get scheduled fast.
Giot's Plumbing, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. Speaking of Patreon, so I got a great story here. So first I'll start with this. You know, I used to have a guy come in the paint store all the time, and I'm an outside sales rep for a paint company in my day job. Right. And they had a guy come in. He was a bail bondsman. His name was Wayne Henson. He owned it was a bail bonding company called A Second Chance, and he would come in there every morning because he painted also, and he would tell stories. And he was good, really good at telling stories. And we used to call it story time with Wayne. When Wayne would pull up, everybody stopped. Wayne came in, and he had some kind of story about some guy he was chasing down that skipped bail and all those sorts of things. And so I guess that's kind of where my my passion for like true crime storytelling came from, and I always kind of admired that. So, you know, I brainstorm constantly, and this is my favorite podcast that I listen to personally.
I appreciate that.
And I'm always like, man, Woody's, you know, he's got such an awesome life with all these stories. I mean, and I'm thinking he could do something on prison stories and do something on when you were a police officer for Southeastern. Right. I mean, that's a whole new thing. Right. She's thinking right now, shh, don't give him no ideas. So all of these things going on, right, that you have just this amazing life, and you could probably never tell all your stories, you know, if you had 100 years. So I wanted to come up with, I'm like, when he gets on the show, this is like 2 weeks ago, I'm like, I'm going to have the best idea for him, and he's going to think Jim Chapman is a genius.
All right.
So I'm like,
I think you're a genius.
So I'm like, man, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to talk to Woody about doing stories on lie detection. That would be perfect because he had this private, basically lie detection business. And I bet he's got some great stories. So I guess it was a couple days ago, you posted Stink on Patreon, and I put it on, and I'm like, God dog it. He beat me to his own thing. Of course.
There are a million of those stories. Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that episode.
Do you know, I didn't even know I was going to do it, and I knew I needed to do a patron vault episode, and it's what I call them, you know, vandalism and above, have X amount of stories locked up.
Yes.
And I'll pull from it every once in a while if we're out of town, if something happens. But I was thinking about it, I was kicking 3:30 in the morning, and just want to do my best work. And I went up in my studio and I said, I just let it go. And I still haven't listened to it yet. And my best episodes are the ones that I don't remember what I said. I know the overall context, but I know I went off kind of in the end because I was pissed. But but there's a million crazy polygraph stories.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Crazy people.
Don't call it a polygraph.
No, just don't call the wife.
Don't call the wife either. No. Well, I'll tell you what I really enjoyed about that episode that stood out to me is you know, there was one part of it where you're talking about a gentleman, you're describing his muscles and everything. Woody, I'm telling you, I was picturing the guy. Yeah. The way you are so descriptive in your storytelling, it's like you're sitting back, you're listening, and you know you're seeing the character that you're describing.
Absolutely,
man, awesome job, awesome job, and I really enjoyed hearing those lie detector stories from one fan to you.
Cool, appreciate it.
Before we go to the next segment, I need to mention that mortgage interest rates are still extremely low. Maybe you're currently renting, or maybe you are looking to refinance. Regardless of the scenario, the folks at HomeKey Mortgage want to help. So contact HomeKey Mortgage, located right here in Denham Springs, at 225-590-5473. HomeKey Mortgage, they are the key that opens the door to your dreams. Love that tagline.
There you go.
So, Woody, you have an event coming up.
Yes, indeed.
An event, Woody.
I know, finally, right? Finally.
Miss Cyndi, an event.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, finally. So it is the Krewe Bash 2. So let's talk about where it's at, what's going down, accommodations, all that.
Texas Club.
Yep.
World famous Texas
My
Club.
old stomping ground.
Yeah, it was really my stomping ground.
Oh, I was there. Look, Wednesdays and Saturdays.
I was going to say Wednesday night after, I guess
you
I
had
could
to
say
be careful
this.
when you went in.
It was ladies' night. They got to drink from 3 to 9 with the Chippendale dancers.
Yes, the male strippers.
And then
don't go in there.
Opened the door at 9 o'clock. It was like, no, I would say shooting fish in the barrel. I wouldn't do that. But anyway, it was fun.
Look, I'll never forget. I went in one time and it was like 15 minutes before these dudes got off stage,
right.
and they wouldn't even let dudes in before that. But for whatever reason, they said, you know, you can go in, but go up to the top there. And I was a single guy back then, and look, I knew that was the time to go to, you know, meet ladies. And so I went, and we went upstairs or whatever. They had this goofball up there, and I'm like, man, I cannot believe I'm sitting in here right now. I should have waited in the car. Every
funny.
Wednesday night, though. Yeah,
that's funny.
No doubt about it. I used to hang out there a lot,
yes,
too, man.
indeed. But, you know, it's made, Jim, what's different than the Basin last year, and I know you and your wife were there for that, is the Basin, you know, it's not set up like Texas Club is. No. Texas Club was built for concerts, and you know, it's a prime spot, and the sound and the light show, everything is going to be so different than it was last year, and the crowd size also and everything. But the it's, you know, the level of professional. We're always trying to do better, and some people last year couldn't hear, and then, you know, stuff like that. But that's not, as you know, that's not a problem in Texas Club, right?
Made for it.
And I mean, you know, everybody, all the greats have played there, and from David Allen Coe to Garth Brooks to George Strait, and I mean, so we're really excited to get to do it with Chase Tyler.
Yeah, and thank goodness, Cyndi, that we're back to times where you can plan things like this, right? And
really excited.
Yes,
and it's interesting. I think everybody's kind of ready to go back to normal. I went. BJ Pawn and Gun in Denham Springs wants to buy your unwanted gold jewelry, gold coins, and gold bullion. With 30 years of experience operating in the Livingston Parish area, BJ Pawn wants to be your source when selling your gold. So stop by BJ Pawn today for a no-obligation offer. BJ Pawn, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. To the Denham Springs, they had the Spring Fest.
I heard about that this weekend.
It was packed.
Yeah,
there must have been 1 million people there.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought a podcast was going on with Woody Overton. That's how many people they had there. It was insane.
People are hungry, man.
You see the airport when the Krewe Bash happens. We've got people coming in from Philadelphia, from
Nebraska, Colorado, Tennessee, all over.
Yeah,
just for the show, right?
Yeah, and you have a deal set up, I believe, with the Hilton. Riverside Hilton?
The Capitol Center.
Center
Hilton. And that's where I always stay when I'm downtown, because 3rd Street's right there. It's a great, best hotel downtown. And so, we have a Real Life, Real Crime discount if you're coming in from out of town, you want to stay there, or, you know, if you want to stay there because you're not going to be able to go home. There's going to be a lot of people. But you just if you book it online with the Hilton, the code at checkout is RLRC, or if you book direct with the hotel, just tell them you come to see the podcast, the show, Real Life, Real Crime.
Great.
Krewe Bash.
Great. And you've secured a great discount over there.
Man, it's a really significant discount for them. So.
Yeah. Yeah, good deal. So we at Local Leaders, the podcast, happen to have secured some tickets to this event to give away to a lucky listener, right? Yeah. Your lifers. A lot of them filled out a little form that we had. And so I'm going to ask Miss Cyndi, I'm going to turn behind me here, and I've got a bucket here with a bunch of slips in it. Just pull one out, and then we'll... Sorry, I know I'm shoving this in y'all's. Let's see who we got here. Oh, it's Jim Chapman. No. How did that happen? Let's see. It is Heather Krewe.
Cool.
Of Zachary.
Yeah, she's an excellent lifer.
Yeah. There you go.
Congratulations, Heather.
Congratulations.
See you there.
Yes. Heather,
Thank you for doing
Krewe.
that.
That's awesome. Yeah, Jim, we appreciate the backing, right?
Nothing to it. I love promoting my favorite podcast. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. So Heather Krewe, you win 2 tickets to the Krewe Bash, courtesy of Local Leaders, the podcast. Now,
Jim, we're swamped with these podcasts, and I'm in the mood for some local barbecue for lunch.
Barbecue? Casey, the problem with barbecue is the speed. That would take forever.
Not at Buddy's Barbecue. With the drive-through line, they can get us fed fast, and that sauce, yum.
It is right in the heart of Denham Springs. Do they have specials?
Yes, they have plate lunch specials every day, Jim. And I bet you didn't know they offer some of the best catfish plates you've ever tasted on Fridays. And on Saturdays, they have smoked ribeyes. They are as flavorful as you can find anywhere.
Okay, I'm hungry. What's the number? I'll call it in.
No, just go online and place your order. By the time you're finished, I can head that way.
That is convenient. And really smart.
Yep, just like me.
A local business, and you know what I always say.
Oh, yes. Jim Chapman loves local.
Correct. And that makes me smart.
Oh, please. If you're in the mood for barbecue, go see Buddy's Barbecue at 105 Florida Avenue Southeast, right in the heart of Denham Springs. They're a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast.
Now let's cover LOPA. A little bit because on this show, you got some great things going on with LOPA where you've teamed up with fishing
Captain Duvall of Duvall's Cajun Charters out of Delacroix.
Yeah,
he's a lifer, and he took my boys and I fishing, and man, it was amazing. Now I had saltwater camp until after Rita, and I gave it up, because I got tired of them washing away. So. But to go down to Delacroix and on one of the worst days of the year, and we tore them up in like 4 or 5 different species of fish. And he was 30-year law enforcement veteran, but he's from down there. And 20 years with JPSO and then 10 years with Homeland Security. But he's been doing this full time for 7 years. And everybody knows I support LOPA,
yes,
Louisiana Organ Security Agency. And when he found out, I found out from him that his mother was a recipient, a double lung transplant recipient, and he kept her alive for 5 more years. So he's like, dude, he said, I want to donate a trip. He said, we'll raffle it off, and for the winner gets to bring a guest. And he said part of it has to be you'll come down and fish with them, right? It's your fans. I said, hey, that's awesome. We'll do it. And then Real Life, Real Crime, we'll get the lodging for them. They come down, I'll hang out with them the night before. We'll fish all day, and it'd be a blast.
Fantastic.
All proceeds going to LOPA.
All proceeds going to LOPA, and you can get tickets online.
Yeah, well, we're working that out because I didn't know Facebook has all these rules about raffles or whatever. So I think we'll start posting the number, and they can call and get the tickets, and we'll ship it to them. However we're going to do it, we're working that out. We'll have that out this week, though.
So all you need is an ice chest to bring your fish on.
He cleans them for you and everything, right? It's amazing, and he can give you. You better believe he knows how to cook them all.
Yeah.
Duvall's Cajun Charters out of Delacroix, y'all. If you ever want an awesome experience, all top of the line, first rate, call Captain Calvin Duvall or look him up at DuvallsCajunCharters.com or on Facebook.
LOPA's an amazing charity.
LOPA, hey man, people are alive because of LOPA.
Yeah.
I mean, that's we support our St. Jude personally for the kids, right?
Us too.
And that's one thing, helping kids and families getting through therapy. But these people are dying every day waiting on some type of organ transplant.
Yes.
Right? And, just to bring awareness to it.
I love it. And
they're good people, Jim. You need to do a podcast with them one day.
Yes, I would love to.
I went and did one with them. They have a podcast studio in Covington, Mandeville, Slidell area, or whatever it was. It was really nice.
Oh, I'd love
and so I did a podcast with them. But Lori Steele is kind of their spokesperson. And she also works with the sheriff's office, right?
The Gifted Life.
The Gifted Life podcast,
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, and we have not talked about this beforehand, so if you want me to cut it out, I will after. Right. But what I would like to do is Local Leaders of Podcast, I would like to give something to that charity as well, awesome. Nonprofit. So they need an ice chest, so I was looking the other day, and I said, well, I'd like to give them a 125-quart Yeti ice chest. It's $600 value.
What?
So, so I'd like to get involved in that.
Then we need
maybe we'll sell a few more tickets.
Tickets reprinted, and
it's worth the $30 to print,
or just staple it.
And then that's amazing, and it shows what kind of person your character. So,
I appreciate it.
What we'll do is, you'll get on the stage with us then when we do the drawing at the Krewe Bash.
Awesome.
Deal?
Awesome. All right. I love it.
That's amazing.
Now, fun facts on Woody Overton. This is these are good. So I shot him a few little questions yesterday. I asked him what he wanted to be when he was a kid. You never guess. A police officer. Who would have known?
Police officer or military?
I was a weatherman. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, I don't know what it was about that. I think so. I mean, I call a storm or two. I don't got to be right.
Hopefully, I was going to say, hopefully you get it right.
So, the best purchase you ever made, a divorce lawyer.
That's right. You know why divorces are? You know why they're so expensive? Because they're worth it.
Yeah. Period. Yeah. Favorite beer, and I have a funny story here. One of my best friends is James out of McCants Sporting Center, and he was actually in here when you responded back, and I said, what do you think Woody's favorite beer is? He said Shinerbach. I said, you asked him that before. He said, nope, didn't know nothing about it. I said, well, then how the heck did you know? Because it is Shinerbach. Right. And he said he just looked like a guy who would like Shinerbach.
Yeah, for over probably 30 years. I remember when you couldn't get Shinerbach in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
And now it's readily available everywhere. So.
Yes. Well, Woody and Cyndi also, y'all are a team, and y'all really rock and roll it with real life, real crime. I love it.
I'm going to tell you this, and she doesn't know I'm going to say it, but there is no real life, real crime without her, because all I do is tell a story. She's the one that runs the whole ship. And we were able to retire from teaching last year, and she is the CEO, official title, on the paperwork and everything for Real Life, Real Crime.
I love it. I love it. And you deserve it too, Cyndi.
Thank
you. You're doing a great job.
Even when she wants to kill me.
Even when you want, look, that's just normal. Yeah. I mean, that's.
If they ever say I committed suicide, call a homicide detective and look at the wife first.
Indeed. I really appreciate y'all. And before I go, I have some parting gifts for y'all from some sponsors of mine that wanted me to give those to you. And they're great. Awesome. The first one is from our friends at Sporting Center.
Yeah, they're great. Hey, the hat I'm wearing is from Sporting Center.
Yes. You like to fish, and he brought this by. This is just a little cutting board.
I love cutting boards. Tell them thank you.
I'm going to show the camera that.
Awesome.
When I cook well. The cutting boards are one of my favorites. So.
Thank you so much.
Now look, this next gift. Yeah, he is. He's an awesome individual.
Doesn't he look like what's that? Pawn Star show.
Yeah.
I told him that. He said, I've never heard that before. I said, you don't get out much because you look just like
great guy, great products.
Rick.
Absolutely. So the next thing I have is a gift from Hancock Whitney Bank. I'm gonna support a sponsor. I'm gonna get a sponsorship for you from Hancock Whitney. How about that?
I saw the show.
So I have a very good friend. Her name is Lori Johnson.
Yeah,
I commonly refer to her as my best friend. That's a chick. She loves when I say that.
Yeah.
But the good folks in Hancock Whitney gave you, wanted me to give you.
What?
Look at there. Pretty sharp, and I'm gonna see if I can kind of.
Hey,
if we can get this in the camera.
Yeah.
But
thank you so much.
You got it.
It's amazing.
It's all right. We're live, folks. Sort of.
Okay.
All right. So there it is, and
open it?
I'll hold that if you can slide it.
Is it slide up or down? Down. There you go. Super.
Look,
super
so it's
duper.
3 wines. One of them
That
is
is
decoy,
awesome,
which
right? I saw
love.
that, the decoy, and then the Cabernet Sauvignon.
This ain't gonna last.
Sonoma Coast La Crema.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Boy,
Thank you very,
awesome.
very, very much.
So
Hancock Whitney.
Yes.
Awesome, right?
Hancock Whitney gave you that.
That's
And
amazing.
there we
Thank
go.
you.
So thank you to the good folks at Hancock Whitney and Lori Johnson right there at the Florida Avenue branch right here in Denham Springs for all of that.
Say what they'll be seeing us soon.
Yes, Cyndi, shout out the website and Facebook for anybody that wants to, for the 1 or 2 people that might not know who y'all are. Hey, here at Local Leaders, the podcast, as well as my home, we use Jamie Fontenot and Expert Pest Services for everything from general pest services to termite protection. Those termites are swarming right now, so if you'd like to get a great deal on termite protection, call the experts at Expert Pest Services at 225-315-0097.
All right, realliferealcrime.com is the website, and Clint and I actually have a new website waiting in the background.
Awesome.
So it's
Clint with Black Sheep Creative.
Yes, we
And-
do need to shout him out.
and then all of our Facebook pages is Real Life, Real Crime, Friends, Fans, and Crew, Friends and Fans Crew.
Private group.
That's the very private group of 34
and
change.
some change right now.
Real Life, Real Crime Lanyap group. That's where you go to post all of your marketing yourself. Like we created it to share recipes. We created it to if you have your own hobby, anything you want to share, but any small businesses that you have, if you want to promote your small business, or you make cookies, or you're part of.
And that's a private group also.
Yeah.
So we don't let spammers or anything in, but it's a way for our lifers to get to express themselves outside of true crime, which is only allowed on the crew
Anything
page.
on not true crime, they can post whatever they want. And then we have the Patreon only group. That's for people that are vandalism tier and above. And that, like Woody just posted some crap.
If you hadn't checked it out, you need to check it out.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of Courtney's case on there, a lot of insight on the Monsters series, a lot of different stuff that you have to sign that you won't share anything.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff that just shouldn't be out there. Yeah.
And
There you go.
then if you want to be friends with Woody, you can't because he has reached his friend limit. But you can go to Woody Overton Real Life, Real Crime, and then you can follow him and be his friend.
There you go.
And then Instagram is at Overton Woody and at Real Life, Real Crime.
Yep.
Twitter is at Real Life Crime. And TikTok is Real Life, Real Crime.
There you go. TikTok, our friends at TikTok.
I'm trying to think. Of Discord, if you're a patron. I think that's all social media.
Yeah, the Instagram is something I do. I've learned as I focus my attention on that. So there's a lot of posts about stuff that aren't necessarily true crime. I've done a couple TikToks after a few beers.
Those are the best time for TikTok.
But we're still learning. It's just so much, man.
Yeah.
But man, I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Well, look for that. I sincerely want to thank the lady behind the camera today, Miss Tiffany Seacard, my assistant.
Yeah.
I called her on short notice and asked her if she could help me out today, and she was so sweet to do so. Thank you very much, Miss Tiffany. I want to thank everyone out there for viewing and listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share us on all your social media. We strive to shine a spotlight on all of our local businesses in the Livingston Parish area. Thanks to all our sponsors. We could not do any of this without all of you. Fact.
Absolutely.
We could not.
We understand that.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So important.
That's right.
And
thank you for having us.
Oh, look, I can't thank you enough. Y'all have always, anytime I've asked.
We're just getting started.
Yeah.
And I know it's been a lot of delays after delays, et cetera, but, God's time.
Yeah,
so.
That's right. Always
but
is.
You did it when as soon as we confirmed and you started posting on social media, it's like, oh, we can't get out of it
now. No. I'm talking about like you invited me to some events, dinners, and things like that, and certain. It almost is like being a homicide detective. And it's a holiday or whatever. Your number's getting called. Right? It seems like someone's trying to block us. I guess so. We have her here today.
That's right. That's right. And I look. You're an expert already. I mean, you did great. I look forward to Housewives of Livingston Parish or whatever you want to. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. So until next time, I'm Jim Chapman reminding you, love your community, support local business, support real life, real crime, and Local Leaders, the podcast, and keep leading. Thank you.
Thank you.
William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance in Denham Springs can service all of your insurance needs. Offering auto, life, health, and commercial insurance, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance is a proud supporter of Local Leaders, the podcast. Now is the time, more than ever, to support local business. Elisa Verrett Interiors and Custom Workroom is working hard to use made in the USA products for all their clients' window coverings. Schedule your appointment today for a consultation on Roman shades, drapes, shutters, outdoor sunshades, and even woven woods. Need a virtual appointment? No problem. Call Elisa at area code 225-955-1135. Elisa Verrett Interiors and Custom Workroom, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details. With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.